I get a lot of comments and questions on social media, most of it positive, some of it not so much. Reddit in particular is not for the faint of heart. Over there I've been called a buffoon, among other things. Guess I can't argue with that, but I don't take it personally. For my part, I try to stay positive. One thing I get asked a lot about the cabin is, do the shutters really work? Yes, they do. People also ask me if it was built from a kit. No, it was not. I actually take that as a compliment, because I think what they're actually saying, it looks so great, it's got to be a kit. I'm here to tell you, everything was measured and cut, nailed, painted, and stained by the big guy, with a little help. To prove it, here's a look back at the whole building process from start to finish. So the first thing I made for the cabin was the front door using plain old Douglas fir lumber from the Home Depot. I thought I might have a hard time finding a new or vintage door to fit the 26 by 72 inch opening. That's a little thinner and shorter than normal. With the door and windows taken care of, I started framing the base of the cabin. The 2x12s are way more than what is structurally necessary, but I wanted some depth for storage compartments. The bottom is covered with hardware cloth mesh to keep mice from getting up in there. At this point, I should take a moment to explain the weird foundation elements. I needed a way to roll that heavy platform out to the build site. Several solid core casters were attached to the bottom. Together they can support about 5,000 pounds. 4 RV leveling jacks with a combined capacity of 20,000 pounds serve as the footings. Later, additional support jacks as well as guy lines were added to further ensure stability. Altogether, there's more than 30,000 pounds of support capacity for a cabin that weighs less than 7,000 pounds. I periodically check to make sure it's still level. So far so good after 2 years and some pretty intense Midwestern storms. It was never my intention to keep the cabin in its current location. The plan was, and still is, to one day dismantle it and move the whole thing somewhere more remote than my backyard. So I didn't want to permanently anchor it in place. By September here in northern Illinois, there's still a good 8 to 12 weeks before winter starts setting in. But with my work and family schedule, that translates into about 8 to 12 days to get stuff done. So with the help of my neighbor, my wife, and my dad, the 4 of us had ourselves a cabin raising party over Labor Day weekend. Lifting the upper half of the center wall and setting it on top of the lower half posed a bit of a challenge. I ended up hooking 2 chain hoists to D-rings at the top of the tall triangular walls for a makeshift gantry. This time-lapse video makes it look almost like a toy, but in real life that wall is pretty darn heavy and potentially dangerous if it fell. But as it turned out, everything came together without a hitch. Okay, hold up. You see this guy here? That's my dad. He was 85 years old when we did this. I tell you what, he might look to everyone else like a kindly old grandpa, but I know he's a bona fide badass.
Go grandpa, go grandpa, go grandpa, go grandpa, go grandpa.
I knew I wouldn't be able to get the roofing on before winter, so I painted the sheathing with some of that thick deck resurfacing paint to make it a little more weather resistant until next spring. Okay, so occasionally I forget to set up the camera. When you're rushing to get stuff done, it's not always top of mind. So you have to imagine how I put up the skylight, most of the roof sheathing, and the bump out sidewalls. With the walls up, the clock was ticking to get the cabin dried in before winter. Finally, I could install the door and the rest of the windows.
Go big guy, go big guy, go. Go big guy, go big guy, go. Go big guy, go big guy, go. Go big guy, go big guy, go.
Over the winter, I got a few things done on the inside, like insulating the sloped ceiling joists with rock wool instead of fiberglass, because it doesn't get ruined if it gets wet. Check out this sweet watermelon knife. It's pretty much the best knife ever made.
Like anyone can even know that.
Got the flooring and storage compartments done. I also built this custom piece of furniture just for the cabin. It's sort of a combination writing desk, kitchen countertop, and sink all rolled into one. Okay, it's warming up again, the sun is out and the days are getting longer. Time to continue insulating with some Thermax polyiso rigid foam in the sidewalls. Shiplap paneling was glued together into larger panels, making it a lot quicker and easier to install, instead of nailing it plank by plank down at the cabin. Finally, I'm putting up the corrugated asphalt roofing material. The roof over the bump out is covered with corrugated steel sheets I pulled off an old chicken coop. But first I got to install the chimney. A custom-built shelf for the wood stove has a fresh air intake, so you don't need to crack a window when starting a fire. I forgot to set up the camera again when installing the metal roofing, so unfortunately you won't get to see me burning my hands and knees as it heats up like a frying pan out there in the sun. The pallets I had been using for temporary front steps were kind of janky, so they were replaced with a proper porch landing and reclaimed hot tub steps. The awning over the door was designed to echo the right triangles of the cabin's half A-frame design. Once that was up, the whole thing finally felt complete. So there it is. After 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days of intense planning, scavenging for materials far and wide, risking life and limb, a little this, a little that, a little what have you, say hello to Cabin McCabinface.
It does look cool in here. I like it a lot. Epic, epic. I can totally see like an Airbnb listing this. Oh, that's cool up there too. I like it, I like it. Oh, nice.
Oh, it's finished, yes! Oh, this is beautiful. See?
What? This is an old man's cabin! It's adorable! Oh my god, you're gonna die here, aren't you, Neil? This is so cute. That reminds me of that Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh, wow. This is really, really cool.
Oh, wow. This is really cool. It's actually pretty spacious for a tiny cabin. We got the little sink now. Awesome. High five.